In a quiet town where everyone knows each other's business, one family's darkest secret came to light on a cold winter night, when the discovery of what would change a once loving family came to light. The riverbank was silent now, save for the echo of shattered ice beneath the moonlight. A body of a man was found at the bank, living onlookers left in shock and awe as the noti was left abandoned, or would I say washed off from the river where it was buried. A haunting reminder of what once was. This wasn't just an accident. It was the tragic culmination of years of secrets, lies, and choices that spiraled out of control. But before tragedy struck, there was love. There was joy. And yes, there was betrayal too, a web so intricate, so tangled, that even those at its center couldn't untangle themselves in time. Welcome to Vic's True Crime Stories. Today, we unravel the harrowing tale of twin sisters, one man, and the choices that led to an unimaginable loss. Lila and Lea, identical twins bound by blood but divided by circumstance. To the outside world, they were inseparable. But beneath the surface, jealousy and resentment simmered, setting the stage for a chain reaction of deception and heartbreak. Then came Jake, a charming outsider who swept Lila off her feet. What neither of them knew was how his arrival would tear their lives apart. It started with a single choice, a moment of weakness that spiraled into something far darker. Lea, overshadowed by her sister all her life, saw an opportunity to claim what she thought she deserved. And Jake, blinded by desire and guilt, let himself be drawn into a dangerous game he didn't fully understand. By the time the truth came to light, it was already too late. Two babies, born into a fractured family, brought hope and then heartbreak. As their second birthday approached, the cracks in this fragile household widened until they could no longer hold. On that fateful night, decisions made in haste and anger sent ripples through not only their lives but the entire community. This is more than just a story of betrayal. It's a cautionary tale about the power of secrets and the cost of keeping them hidden. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the lives of these characters, exploring the choices that led to tragedy and the aftermath that changed everything. Your likes and subscriptions help bring this video to more viewers like you. Subscribe to Vic's True Crime Stories and hit that like button to support us. The truth comes to light, but will anyone survive the fallout? The truth comes to light, but will anyone survive the fallout? Lila and Lea, identical twins born in Willow Creek, Ohio, were bound by blood but divided by circumstance. To the world, they were inseparable. They grew up together in a modest home on Maplewood Avenue, their lives intertwined from the moment they were born. But beneath the surface, jealousy and resentment simmered, setting the stage for a chain reaction of lies and deception. From an early age, Lila was the star of the family, the outgoing twin who effortlessly captured attention wherever she went. She excelled in school, graduated top of her class at Willow Creek High, and landed her dream job as a marketing specialist at Thompson Enterprises in Columbus. Meanwhile, Lea lived in her shadow, often overlooked despite her quiet charm and deep intelligence. While Lila thrived in the spotlight, Lea retreated into herself, nurturing a growing sense of inadequacy. It wasn't long before fate introduced someone who would forever alter their lives. In November 2018, Lila attended the annual charity gala held at the Grand Ballroom in downtown Columbus. It was there that she met Jake Thompson, a charismatic businessman and vice president of operations at Thompson Enterprises. He swept her off her feet almost instantly, his charm and wit leaving her breathless. That night, under twinkling lights and soft music, their connection felt inevitable. Lila told Jake that he made her feel things she never thought possible. And Jake responded that Lila was everything he had ever wanted. Their relationship blossomed quickly, culminating in a whirlwind engagement just 6 months later, in May 2019. To outsiders, they appeared to be the perfect couple. Handsome, successful, and seemingly destined for happiness. What neither of them knew was how their relationship would spiral into chaos, and involve someone else entirely. For Lea, the sight of her sister finding love only deepened her feelings of resentment. Watching Lila bask in the glow of adoration made her question why it couldn't have been her instead. These emotions weren't new. They had simmered quietly for years, fueled by moments when she felt overshadowed or ignored. Now, With Lila engaged to the man everyone admired, those feelings boiled over. Lea asked herself why Lila always got everything. Why couldn't it be her for once? Enter Derek Hamilton, a kind-hearted man who worked as a software engineer at Technova Solutions in Columbus. He loved Lea deeply but struggled to connect emotionally. Despite his devotion, Lea found it hard to reciprocate fully. She admired him, yes, but there was something missing, a spark, a passion that eluded her. In contrast, Jake represented everything she craved: excitement, validation, and attention. Derek tried to comfort Lea after another argument, telling her she deserved so much more than she thought. He said she was amazing, and anyone would be lucky to have her. His words fell on deaf ears. For all his kindness, Derek couldn't fill the void inside her. And then, one fateful night in March 2020, opportunity knocked. It came disguised as weakness, temptation, and regret, but Lea answered anyway, not realizing the cost of her actions. Lee's resentment grew, fueled by feelings of inadequacy. Every smile Lila shared with Jake felt like a stab to her heart. Every public display of affection served as a reminder of what she lacked. When the chance arose to step into Lila's shoes, even if only briefly, she seized it without hesitation. Her initial intentions may have been innocent, a fleeting flirtation perhaps, but soon enough, it spiraled out of control. Jake, too, played a part in this dangerous game, blinded by desire and guilt. Together, they embarked on a path of deception that would shatter not only their own lives but also the lives of those around them. As the pieces began to fall into place, the stage was set for a tragedy no one could have foreseen. The choices they made would unravel their world, leading to consequences far beyond what they imagined. By late 2020, both Lila and Lea discovered they were pregnant within weeks of each other. The news sent shockwaves through Willow Creek, sparking rumors and speculation. Lila assumed the baby was Jake's, while Lea kept her secret hidden, planning to pass off the child as Derek's. As the pregnancies progressed, tensions rose between the sisters. Public whispers about the scandal filled the air, turning private pain into public spectacle. The births of Richard and Lee in February 2021 brought initial joy, but the underlying tension remained unresolved. Both mothers struggled to coexist peacefully, especially as the children grew closer despite the fractured family dynamic. By the time the paternity suit reached the Franklin County Courthouse in Columbus in April 2023, the truth could no longer be contained. This is more than just a story of betrayal. It's a cautionary tale about the power of secrets and the cost of keeping them hidden. Stay in the quiet suburbs of Willow Creek, Ohio, where life often seemed idyllic, a storm was brewing. It began on a chilly March evening in 2020 when Lea made a decision that would unravel the delicate threads of her family's existence. That night, she slipped into Jake's apartment, pretending to be Lila. Her heart raced with a mix of excitement and guilt as she entered the space they had once shared so innocently. Jake greeted her warmly, though something felt off. He hesitated, his instincts tingling faintly beneath the surface. "Something feels off tonight," he muttered, his voice laced with uncertainty. But Lea, quick-witted and desperate, brushed it aside. "Maybe it's just me being tired, Jake." "Come closer," she whispered softly, her tone dripping with familiarity. Despite noticing subtle differences, like unshaven legs and a slightly different scent, Jake chose to ignore them. In that moment, the seeds of destruction were sown. His moral compass faltered, swayed by desire and the thrill of secrecy. Weeks passed, and life continued its ordinary rhythm in Willow Creek. Neither Lila nor Lea suspected the truth lurking beneath the surface. Then came the shocking revelation that changed everything. By late summer 2020, both sisters discovered they were pregnant within weeks of each other. The news sent ripples through their small community, turning heads and sparking whispers wherever they went. Lila stood frozen, staring at the positive pregnancy test in her bathroom mirror, her mind racing with joy and confusion. Meanwhile, Lea faced her own reflection, her expression a mixture of triumph and dread. When the truth finally dawned on them, panic set in. How could this happen? Whose child was whose? Public whispers about the scandal filled the air, turning private pain into public spectacle. Neighbors exchanged glances at the grocery store, while co-workers at Thompson Enterprises gossiped behind closed doors. The weight of the situation pressed heavily on all involved, creating an atmosphere thick with tension and unanswered questions. As the drama unfolded, Derek Hamilton found himself caught in the crossfire. A kind-hearted man who loved Lea deeply, he struggled to reconcile the woman he knew with the version emerging from the shadows. One evening in October 2020, Jake confronted him in a dimly lit cafe near downtown Columbus. The air between them crackled with unspoken accusations and simmering anger. "You knew all along, didn't you?" Jake demanded, his voice low but forceful. "That Lea was seeing someone else?" Derek remained calm, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of guilt. "Even if I did, what difference would it make now? The damage is done," he replied, his words heavy with resignation. Derek's role in the scandal remained murky, shrouded in layers of deceit. Was he truly complicit, enabling Lee's actions out of fear or misplaced loyalty? Or was he simply blind to her manipulations, too trusting to see the cracks forming beneath his feet? The answers eluded everyone, buried deep within the tangled web of lies and half-truths. As the months rolled on, the deception continued to unravel, exposing vulnerabilities and testing the limits of trust. Each character grappled with their part in the unfolding tragedy, their choices shaping not only their own futures but also the lives of those around them. This was more than just a story of betrayal. It was a complex tapestry of human frailty, woven with threads of jealousy, longing, and the devastating consequences of secrets kept too long. The stage was now set for a reckoning, one that would force each person to confront the truth about themselves and the relationships they held dear. What happened next would leave indelible marks on their hearts and souls, altering the course of their lives forever. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the unfolding drama, exploring the intricate dynamics of love, betrayal, and redemption. In the Franklin County Courthouse, located in downtown Columbus, Ohio, the air crackled with tension as Lila, Lea, and Jake faced each other for the first time under the scrutiny of public eyes. The paternity suit had become a media sensation, drawing reporters from across the state to cover what many deemed the scandal of the decade. Judge Thompson banged the gavel sharply, calling the room to order. The case made headlines, turning private pain into public spectacle. For Lila, Lea, and Jake, there was no escape from the relentless glare of judgmental stares or whispered accusations. Neighbors who once admired their seemingly perfect lives now whispered behind closed doors about betrayal, deceit, and the unraveling of a family once held up as an example of success. As the trial commenced, emotional close-ups of each character testifying revealed the raw vulnerability beneath their composed exteriors. Lila sat stiffly in her chair, tears streaming down her face as she recounted the events leading to this moment. Her voice trembled as she addressed the court. "How could my own sister betray me like this?" she asked, her words echoing through the silent courtroom. Her anguish was palpable, resonating not just with those present but also with the countless viewers watching live streams of the proceedings online. Lea, seated nearby, stared blankly ahead, her gaze fixed on some distant point beyond the walls of the courtroom. When it came her turn to testify, her response was eerily calm yet tinged with regret. "I wasn't thinking clearly," she admitted softly, her voice barely audible over the hum of anticipation in the room. "None of us were." Her admission carried weight, forcing everyone, including herself, to confront the reality of their shared complicity in the chaos that unfolded. Jake shifted uncomfortably in his seat throughout the hearing, unable to meet anyone's eye. His guilt weighed heavily upon him, visible in the way his hands fidgeted nervously atop the wooden railing before him. As he took the stand, His testimony reflected a man grappling with shame and responsibility. Though he tried to shift blame onto Lea, suggesting she had manipulated him, the evidence painted a far more complicated picture. Each word he spoke only deepened the sense of betrayal felt by all parties involved. Judge Thompson presided over the proceedings with unwavering authority, ensuring that every detail came to light regardless of the consequences. "This court will uncover the truth," he declared firmly, his voice cutting through the tension-filled atmosphere. With each passing hour, the layers of deception peeled away, exposing the messy truths hidden beneath polished facades. Finally, after days of testimony and deliberation, the DNA results confirmed what many already suspected. Jake was indeed the biological father of both children. The revelation sent shockwaves rippling through the courtroom, leaving none untouched by its implications. Tears flowed freely as the full weight of their actions crashed down upon them. Lila buried her face in her hands, overwhelmed by the magnitude of the betrayal. Lea bowed her head, her shoulders shaking silently with suppressed emotion. And Jake sank back into his chair, defeated, realizing the enormity of the mistake he had allowed himself to make. For the people of Willow Creek, and indeed, for anyone following the story, the verdict served as a stark reminder of the fragility of trust and the devastating consequences of secrets left unchecked. It was a tale that transcended individual lives, touching on universal themes of love, loyalty, and the human capacity for error. Creating stories like this takes time and passion, and we pour our hearts into bringing you gripping, emotional content. All we ask in return is a simple gesture: your support. Hit that like button and share this video with someone who loves true crime. It's an easy way to help us keep creating stories that resonate. Your small action makes a huge difference in helping us reach more viewers like you. Isn't it worth it to show your appreciation for the effort and emotion behind this piece? Thank you for watching. Let's continue this journey together. For 2 years after the court case, Lila and Lea attempted to co-parent their children despite the lingering bitterness that still hung between them like an unspoken shadow. Jake, torn between his responsibilities as a father to both Richard and Ellie, struggled to balance his visits between the two households. Each interaction was fraught with tension, the weight of past betrayals pressing down on every conversation, every shared moment. The cracks in their fractured family only deepened, no matter how hard they tried to mend what had been broken. Amidst this fragile truce, Philip B. Barrick, the twins' father, grew increasingly distant from Jake. Once cordial, their relationship soured over time, fueled by resentment and mistrust. Philip blamed Jake for tearing apart his daughters' lives and destroying the close bond he once shared with both Lila and Lea. His anger simmered beneath the surface, manifesting in subtle ways: cold stares during family gatherings, terse exchanges whenever their paths crossed. For Philip, inviting Jake to join him on a hunting trip seemed like an opportunity to confront the man who had caused so much pain. What began as a seemingly innocent gesture would soon unravel into something far darker. The weeks leading up to the hunt were tense. Philip extended the invitation casually at first, but it quickly became clear that this wasn't just any outing. It carried layers of meaning, perhaps even a veiled challenge. "Why don't you come hunting with me this weekend?" he said one evening, his tone deceptively casual. Jake hesitated, sensing the undercurrents of hostility, but ultimately accepted, hoping it might be a chance to repair some of the damage done. However, his decision sparked unease among those closest to him. Friends warned him against going, citing Philip's growing animosity. Even Lila and Lea exchanged worried glances, though neither dared voice their concerns outright. As the date approached, Philip grew increasingly secretive about the plans. He refused to disclose the exact location of the hunting grounds, citing tradition and privacy. This secrecy only heightened suspicions, particularly among those who knew Philip well. Some whispered that he harbored dark intentions, while others dismissed such talk as paranoia. Regardless, the atmosphere surrounding the upcoming trip was heavy with anticipation and fear. On the morning of the hunt, Jake arrived at Philip's home, greeted by an eerie calm. The air felt charged, as if the weight of unspoken words hung thickly between them. They loaded their gear into Philip's truck without speaking much, the silence punctuated only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of birds. As they drove deeper into the countryside, the landscape grew wilder, more isolated. By the time they reached their destination, a remote forest known for its dense foliage and treacherous terrain, it was clear that there would be no easy escape. That was the last anyone saw of Jake. When neither man returned as expected, panic set in. Search parties scoured the woods, helicopters buzzed overhead, and volunteers combed through the underbrush, but no trace of either man was found. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation shifted focus. While Philip eventually resurfaced, battered but alive, Jake remained missing, leaving behind only unanswered questions. Philip's return did little to quell the rumors swirling around Willow Creek. Many believed he held critical information about Jake's disappearance, or worse, that he played a direct role in it. Authorities launched a formal inquiry, scrutinizing every detail of the day's events. Witnesses recounted Philip's cryptic behavior leading up to the trip, his evasiveness regarding the location, his insistence on venturing so far off the beaten path. Neighbors spoke of overhearing heated arguments between Philip and Jake in the months prior, fueling speculation that the trip may have been more than just a casual outing. Lila and Lea were devastated, their grief compounded by suspicion and doubt. Both sisters grappled with conflicting emotions, anger toward Philip for his potential involvement, guilt over their own roles in the unfolding tragedy, and heartbreak over losing Jake, flawed though he was. Public opinion split the town. Some viewed Philip as a grieving father seeking justice, while others painted him as a calculating figure capable of crossing dangerous lines. The investigation dragged on, uncovering disturbing details. Forensic experts examined Philip's clothing and equipment, finding faint traces of blood whose origin remained undetermined. Investigators questioned whether the blood belonged to Jake or another animal encountered during the hunt. Meanwhile, Philip maintained his innocence, insisting that Jake had wandered off after a disagreement and that he himself barely survived a fall into a ravine. Yet inconsistencies in his story raised red flags, prompting authorities to charge him with obstruction of justice and list him as a person of interest in Jake's disappearance. Now, nearly 6 months later, the case remains open, with Philip awaiting trial amid mounting evidence pointing to his possible complicity. The community watches closely, divided in its opinions. For Lila and Lea, life has become a blur of court hearings, media scrutiny, and sleepless nights spent wondering what truly happened to the father of their children. Richard and Ali, too young to fully grasp the gravity of the situation, cling to their mothers, oblivious to the storm raging around them. This is more than just a tale of betrayal or tragedy. It's a story of unanswered questions, shattered trust, and the enduring search for truth. As Philip awaits trial, the mystery of Jake's disappearance lingers like a ghost haunting the halls of justice. Did Philip act out of vengeance? Was Jake's vanishing truly accidental? Or does the truth lie buried somewhere in the depths of the forest, waiting to be unearthed? In Willow Creek, whispers continue to circulate, each new revelation sparking fresh debate. But for Lila and Lea, the pain runs deeper than words can express. Their world has been irrevocably changed, their family splintered beyond repair. And until the truth comes to light, the void left by Jake's absence will remain, a constant reminder of the choices that led to this unimaginable loss. Thanks for watching Vic's True Crime Stories. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon for future episodes. Share this video with friends who enjoy thought-provoking true crime stories like this one. Your support helps us bring these gripping narratives to life, and we couldn't do it without you. See you in the next episode.